I'm Christopher Zweig in Chicago, bringing you this week's reviews on George Clooney and Julia Roberts in Ticket to Paradise, Charlize Theron and Kerry Washington in The School for Good and Evil, Dwayne Johnson as the antihero Black Adam, and Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson reuniting with writer-director Martin McDonagh in The Banshees of Inisherin. Let's take a look. Our first movie is Ticket to Paradise, the fifth movie to star George Clooney and Julia Roberts, in which they play a divorced couple who are both roped back into each other's lives as they fly over to Bali to stop their daughter, played by Caitlin Dever, from marrying a man she just met. They must put aside their differences in order to pull it off.
I won't let her throw her life away. We need to trick her into dumping him. As much as this will pain us both, we have to call a truce to make this work.
We have to be in lockstep.
Hey! Did you make a pact to not murder each other until you murder me first?
We are here for you, my love.
Yes, we're in lockstep.
Yes.
Ticket to Paradise is a comedy that allows the two leading actors to have the kind of chemistry that makes them likable, but the problems include the script and jokes, which both never seem to take off. It was directed by Ol Parker, who can totally use big names in his screenplay for the best exotic Marigold Hotel, but somehow he doesn't deliver the goods the way he should here. It's not a terrible movie because Clooney and Roberts deliver, but something more could have been done in the story. Our next movie is The School for Good and Evil, another Harry Potter-inspired fantasy based on a popular book about a fairy tale school divided by two classes, the good and the evil. We meet two girls with very different lives. Sophia Ann Caruso plays Sophie, a would-be princess with a bossy stepmother, and Sophia Wilde plays Agatha, a young witch mocked by society. Sophie sends them to the School for Good and Evil, where they end up in the wrong places.
This is all I've ever wanted, Aggie. I can't settle for an ordinary life.
Not as it seems the universe we knew.
But we don't belong here.
Oh dear. You must be lost.
That is an understatement.
The movie's star-studded cast includes Lawrence Fishburne as the headmaster, Kerry Washington as the good dean, and Charlize Theron as the evil dean, although both sides need personality checks. Besides, the biggest evil threatens to consume Sophie and her friendship with Agatha.
You'll not just be the fairest of them all. You'll be the strongest.
The School for Good and Evil was directed by the usually versatile Paul Feig, who can take various genres to new heights as demonstrated in Bridesmaids, The Heat, and A Simple Favor, but this time he misses the mark with a very long time length of 2.5 hours, shabby CGI effects, and a complicated story. I admired some of the performances and the look of the film, but for a fantasy film to be magical, it has to take us to places we've never been to before. This is basically the same movie happening over and over again. Our next movie is Black Adam, DC's next film, which stars Dwayne Johnson, one of our highest paid actors, as Teth Adam, who has the powers of Shazam, and his act of revenge imprisons him for 5,000 years until a group of archaeologists are searching for an ancient crown and wake the anti-hero from his slumber. He chooses violence over reasoning, which is why a superhero team, the Justice Society of America with Aldous Hodge and Pierce Brosnan in the mix, have to make him strip himself of his powers.
Negotiate your peaceful surrender.
I'm not peaceful, nor do I surrender.
Here we go.
Black Adam is a mixed bag of an anti-hero film that I could have recommended if the story and main antagonist were as interesting as Black Adam himself. Johnson is able to have fun as the actor and producer, and even some of the supporting actors like Hodge and Brosnan win our attention. I wanted this movie to be more than it gives itself credit for, but I have confidence in its sequels because of how Marvel films Deadpool 2 and Venom Let There Be Carnage were able to improve on their predecessors. I can't give this movie a pass, but I take it over Johnson being bullied in Red Notice, which isn't saying much. And our last movie is a first-class winner called The Banshees of Inisherin, the latest entry from Martin McDonagh, who continues to prove he is a filmmaker sharing his own unique combination of comedy and pathos. In it, he reunites with his In Bruges stars Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson in a story set off the coast of Ireland in 1923, when Gleeson calls off his friendship with Farrell because the old-timer thinks he's dull.
What the hell's going on with you, me feckin' brother?
He's dull, Siobhan.
But he's always been done.
The other night, 2 hours you spent talking to me about the things you found in your little donkey shite that day.
Well, it wasn't me little donkey shite, it was me pony shite, which shows how much you were listening.
That's Kerry Condon as Farrell's sister, and he tries to get back into Gleeson's life, but to no avail. In fact, the old-timer decides to resort to drastic measures.
I have a set of shears at home, and each time you bother me from this day on, I'll take those shears and I'll take one of my fingers off with them, and I'll give that finger to you until I have no fingers left. Does this make things clearer to you?
Not really, no.
Starting from now. But shush like, Polly. You know, shush like.
Yeah, I'd shush like.
The Banshees of Inisherin is dark, funny, and sentimental in the ways that only McDonagh can deliver. Farrell and Gleeson both continue to work with the filmmaker with the kind of dialogue and tone that keeps audiences involved. They also portray characters who have choices and consequences within their now toxic friendship. The movie is powerful and outrageously funny at the same time, and uses the right setting and period to represent its comedy and pathos. This is one of the year's very best movies. Okay, to recap this week's new movies, thumbs down for Ticket to Paradise, thumbs down for The School for Good and Evil, thumbs down for Black Adam, although there is potential, and thumbs way up for the Banshees of Inisherin. Well, those are the movies I'm reviewing this week. I'm Christopher Zweig in Chicago. Stay safe, and I'll see you at the movies. For more amazing content, please like and subscribe to my channels, and please read my reviews at cjatthemovies.com and download the new HD Radio app.